Rock and roll, here we go. Good evening, welcome. City of Trinidad Planning and Zoning and Variance Commission, June 13th, 2023. Will you please stand for the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Leone,
Yes.
Here.
Walker,
Here.
Amijo,
Here.
Norris.
Here.
Spain.
Here.
Maturano.
Here.
And Rolo. Here.
Any public comments? Don't have anybody online or nothing? Okay, we're gonna table the
Approval of minutes.
approval of minutes until the next meeting.
Because why?
Because she wasn't here and they weren't done.
Okay, good. That's thank you. We're not supposed to have meetings before meetings, so thought I'd ask. Right.
Any old business, any updates on area-wide planning efforts?
I thought there would be other people here, but no, I don't have any updates. Keely is keeping appraised of area-wide planning efforts. I do not have any.
So I have a question about area-wide planning. Is this appropriate time to pass that, or?
I probably have a hard time answering it because I haven't been to any of the meetings for the last month.
Well, that was the question I had, is we've never been invited to it.
What I do understand is there's supposed to be one person from each group that attends the meetings, and that's the extent of what I understand.
Has anybody been to any of them?
So why don't we have somebody attending meetings?
That was the question.
I thought somebody was nominated to do
Well,
that.
now, that could be a little bit of my fault or not, because I feel like I was just kind of threw into something. So I'm not sure, because I don't have my computer with me, but I do get like some invites to something. I'm not
Okay.
quite sure what that is. Maybe that's what it is. I thought it was a different group, but I will follow up on that. But
All right.
I was just kind of thrown in, said that, and it doesn't correlate with my normal work schedule with it.
You might want to ask if someone else could attend on your behalf.
Well, maybe I'll call Keely tomorrow and see if we can get some of that taken care of.
Excuse me.
Okay. Moving on, public hearings, 2023 VAR-02, PSTM Architectural and Planning Incorporated Consideration Parking Variance from 12 to 10 on property parking spaces at 204 Pine Street, Trinidad, Colorado 81082. Staff.
Yes, sir. So, we bring you this application that is brought to us by PTSM Architectural Planning Inc. on behalf of Sean Kennedy. And I believe his organization is Way Out West Investments, although he may have another investment company or corporation that's represented. And it's for the property of 204 Pine Street in Trinidad, Colorado, 81082. This is considered the Eagles Building, which our applicant is asking for a variance on application 2023-VAR-02 for the square footage on the second story, which is 5,942 square foot. And it's known as the residential space for this building. And from what I understand, there's parking that's located in the parking space to the, maybe west of the building. And the requirements are 12 spaces according to our code. And the applicant is asking for 10 spaces with the ADA included in those 10 spaces. The applicant was very responsive. I did receive the criteria statement a little late, so I apologize getting this up. And putting it up online late. But basically, what the consideration is, and I found it in our code, is we're only supposed to consider the public parking spaces that are located within the parcel of the building, not off-street parking. And my code, our code does cite that there are limitations, and you should be looking at this from that criteria. That if you look at the site map, it's only the dark gray area for the parking area. And as far as what staff's comments go, the application provided includes items required by this section, including a written narrative, site plan, parking plans, and this is sufficiently demonstrating compliance with relevant municipal code requirements per section 1443 B2 under submittal requirements of the municipal code, and regarding intensity or limitations of use, appearance, hours of operation, setbacks, or required open space, or other such conditions which it deemed necessary. There's also section of the code, Chapter 14 code version, in community commercial, no part of the lot, open area, or off-street parking area designated for any use or uses or structure or structures for the purpose of complying with the provisions of these regulations shall be designated as part of the lot. A lot similarly required for another use or uses or structure. Basically, that's the area that's stating that the proposed parking areas considered should be the area on the parcel, and residential parking for multifamily units is 1.5 spaces per unit. And the applicant is considering 8 units on the second floor, which is the requirement for this is 12 required spaces, and the applicant is asking for 10. Basically, that's it. They're, just wanted to cut those 2 spaces down. And I haven't heard what the alternative is for residential uses for parking, but I'm sure the applicant can explain if there's an alternative use that should be considered. And make sure to look at this map right here, or the site map, site plan, and the gray areas are the applicable areas that we're considering, and not the off-street parking. I do want to mention that this site is considered for historic preservation in the future, but right now it's considered community commercial. So we're just going to consider it as that for the time being. And for applicant, you would like to come up, Paul Glenn, Do you have any questions for me?
I don't. Anybody have any questions for staff?
I do actually, this is just because I don't know. Is there any difference in ADA compliance? Do they have to have a certain number of handicap spaces? And if we're reducing this, then would they still have to have that number? Or
Well,
is it sufficient?
ADA is a national requirement, so they'll have to satisfy the national standards for ADA compliance.
So is one parking spot for ADA, is that,
Well, the proposed parking does include ADA. Now, whether that needs to be van accessible ADA or regular,
but one parking spot sufficient for that, correct?
yes, for this use. And I can double check that with the national requirements. It's quite complicated, but I'm not sure from this picture if that's a van accessible ADA or just a regular. But usually this ADA standard dimensions, and they have to be that no matter what. It's a national requirement.
I wasn't really asking about the size of the spot, I was asking about the number of spots.
Yeah, I'd have to check on that because I'm not sure. Maybe Mr. Glenn may know. Anything else?
That's it. Thank you. Open up the hearing.
Just can't be come forward.
Would you like to come forward?
Yes. Tom had mentioned that there's a communication issue here, so I brought a little slideshow.
You want to state your name?
My name is Paul Glenn. I'm with PSTM Architecture and Planning Inc. We are in the process of providing drawings for the rehabilitation of Eagles Hall building, 204 Pine Street. And at this point, we feel we need a variation on the parking based on the use for the second floor, as Chris outlined. Let me start. So the building will be going under historic renovation. It's currently in the CC zoning. The requirements, according to Chapter 14, require 1.5 spaces per unit. We are providing 8 units. The parking lot, as currently on site right now, is a gravel lot. And so there is no real designation of parking or how many or size or anything on there. So what we're proposing is to pave that lot, stripe the stalls, and when we do that, according to your ordinance with respect to size and handicapped accessibility size, we come up with 10 stalls. We're also providing a trash enclosure back there as well, and then the required landscape buffer zone. So we still feel that the 10 units we're providing, which includes the handicap stall, still accommodates the 8 units that are proposed for the upper floor of the Eagles Hall. There is street parking available, but that's not technically allowed in your ordinance. So, but we're also providing, the required bicycle parking. As you know, there's a portion of the site along Nevada Street that was deeded over to the Eagles parcel, and we're turning that into a outdoor dining area, seating. So what I can do, can you all see this okay?
Not really.
No, is there anywhere we can hook that up to,
Probably.
He said Tom.
I mean, is there anything we have to see on that? I mean,
No, not really.
it's-
I think-
most PowerPoints we don't need, so.
yeah, if you,
I think if this one works right here, I'm trying to remember which one works.
I know.
So I guess, you don't really need to see it, I can just read off of this. We've got a narrative on here, which is required by your ordinance, but, so it's a mixed-use building, it always has been for 120 years. It has a banquet facility in the basement floor, retail on the first floor, and a banquet facility on the upper floor. what we're proposing is that the use in the basement remain. There's no change in that. There's no change on the main floor. We are taking the upper floor banquet and changing that to 8 residential units. It is in the CC zoning district. All of the uses that we're proposing for this building are allowed by right in your zoning ordinance, so we're not asking for anything that's not already permitted in there. As Chris mentioned, the ordinance, because of the change in use on the second floor, requires 12 spaces, we're providing 10. And like I said, one of those is handicap accessible. We are also, we have gone for the Housing Now grant with this building and have been approved. The conditions on that was, one of the spaces be handicap, or one of the units be handicap accessible. So we're providing that. We're also providing an elevator in this building, just for that very reason. So the use intensity of this is going to be significantly lower just because we're going with residential versus assembly on that upper floor. So the use intensity is reduced significantly. And the variation in the parking won't, we feel it's not going to adversely affect the neighborhood. We're providing striped parking, very, very well designated, where right now none exists. We're also providing trash enclosure, which will be contextual with the building, be a stucco style. We are redoing the exterior stairs to give it not only building code compliance, but also significant safety, life safety change from the exterior stair that's there now. As Chris mentioned, this group is way out west investment. They do have an address here over on San Pedro. Robert Sean Kennedy is the principal managing director of that group. We're about 30 days away from permit at this point with our drawings.
Mr. Glenn, out of curiosity, my assumption would be that you're asking for the variance because there's probably not enough space to complete the 12. Would that be?
Yes. Yeah, and if we need a trash enclosure, we know we need landscape buffer, so that all reduces the effective square footage that we have back there. We also, because we're bringing the stair into compliance, we also have our services coming in back there, electric, gas meters, electric panels, things like that. So we're limited on the space, and really when we comply with the parking, the aisle requirement, size, and all of these other entities, we end up with 10.
Because all those services are actually on that side of the building, aren't they? Which would be pretty much the south side of the building, correct?
It is the south, yeah. The only thing that comes in that we've determined is the water, and the water comes in off of Pine from the north. And we've got a space in the basement that we're going to use for all the brand new meters and fire. We are going to sprinkle the building as well, so we've got our RTZ valve and backflow preventers in that space down in the basement. But everything else, gas, electric, comes into that.
Yeah, okay.
So the stairs, ain't there some stairs back there already?
There is. I don't have a photo of that, but there's an old iron stair. There's only one exit from that entire upper floor, and there's an old iron stair that comes down. It's kind of rickety, but it doesn't meet code. So what we need to do when we're doing our corridors up here is we have to have 2 exits. So we've got a new iron stair that would be nicely designed. We wanted to stick with iron, stay away from wood, and it'll have 2 exits. It's got a stair that comes down, but it is a lot larger, just because it has to meet code.
Right, so that's going to push you further.
That pushes us further out, further south. Right.
Thank you, sir.
So this was the building historically. Beautiful building, built 1903. We're not going to change not gonna change the exterior except to paint. We're gonna leave the balcony there. The storefronts have been rebuilt back in '80s, so they're kind of aluminum frame. We're gonna take those storefronts back to contextual, period style storefronts. This actually was a unit on the end here. This is all original. This unit was filled in, that in fact did have a storefront. We are gonna restore that back. That's actually gonna be, we call this the bistro out here. You look at your site plan, that'll be the outdoor dining area. That'll be the entrance to that area from
Gotcha.
inside.
Oh, that's right, I remember that.
So, look at the site plan, here is the bistro I'm talking about. There was storefront down here, another storefront. Those right now, as part of the permit process, are gonna be white box retail units, we don't know who's going in there. This is the main stair going up and down, and this is the unit on the corner. It's going to be a coffee shop with its outdoor bistro. We will have kind of an iron fence around that to match the railing on the back side. The other thing we're going to do too is we are responsible, from what I understand, taking care of the sidewalk out here, so we would like to do some planters and trees. I still need to work with the city on that, as far as we'd like to soften that whole urban streetscape, make it more pedestrian friendly. We are proposing trees over by the bistro and a bike rack as well. And then also, if you go back, we are trying to match this light fixture here. Rumor has it you guys have one somewhere. So we're gonna try to match that with light fixtures out here across the front. So I don't know how far we're gonna get with that, but we are gonna try. We've noted those on the plan as well. The existing handicap work, ramp, curb work that you did will not change. We're gonna leave that. And I said, like, there's the green space, we're increasing the green space, so the impervious area of the parking right now is all gravel. We're gonna take some of that away and put green space back in there through the landscape ordinance. And the rest of this was just part of the submittal package. I think that's all I have. Do you have any questions? Anybody have any questions?
So now, is that, where you're gonna have the parking, where you're gonna pave it and stripe it, that's gravel right now?
Yes, sir. And, you know, one thing we need to do a little investigation is I had heard, I don't know if it was Bob or the owner, told me that it's gravel, but there is actually pavers or something underneath. And so we would need to do a little further investigation on that, but at the end of the day, we're gonna pave it and make it, you know, striped and well.
Is that part of your plan, as far as paving and striping?
Yes,
Is that part of your plan?
It is.
That's in your plan?
Yeah, and we've got the striping. This is,
Pavers, as far as the same kind of pavers that are out there on that road, pavers?
we don't know, I don't know, we're
Oh,
gonna,
y'all are messing with the snake right there.
well,
I wouldn't touch those pavers.
I don't think there's any pavers in there.
If they're the same kind that are on them historic roads, them are all kinds of protected. Y'all better watch out.
yeah. You know, I'm not sure, you know, when you get to a project like this, historically, whether, you know, we do a lot of work with the state, and, so, and environmentally, you entomb things is the best way.
Yeah.
So, if it comes down to that, that's exactly what we're gonna do.
I might
I was part of that.
exposed it.
I was part of the Eagles, I joined the Eagles in '65.
Okay.
That's always been gravel back there since
Wow,
1965.
okay, well, so that's, see there, right there.
Before that, I don't know, but I know that.
And it may have just been a piece of the alley over there, maybe that was where they were talking about, but, no, it's just incredibly interesting building, so.
I agree. It's gonna be very nice.
I mean, historically too, I mean, just, yeah, it's really, so we're excited, to get going on it, and, the owners are, you know, they're chomping at the bit, so. And we have had the environmental work on it, so it's really pretty far along. And this was just one of the pieces of the puzzle that and we've been working with Chris and staff on utilities and services to the building, as far as locating sewer, water, electric.
I think the
Any questions?
only thing I have to say is that a lot of it makes sense, why you have to shrink down. But I appreciate what you have to say.
Thank you.
That basement, what are you gonna do with that?
So the basement's gonna be a banquet facility. We're not changing much. Have you been in that building?
Yeah, a few times.
I think everybody in this community has, so we're not gonna even go there. But, yeah, so the stage in the corner, we are gonna keep the stage. The owner just took up 3,000 square foot. There must have been a flood in there, the previous owner, and so they put the flooring, the floor down, subfloor, and just piled up all the flooring. So they took 3,000 square foot of hardwood boards and pulled the nails out recently. So we're going to redo that as a banquet facility. When you come down the stairs, there's some headroom issues. We're addressing all of that, the ramp, all of that area is getting reconfigured down there.
Is that elevator gonna go all the way down to that floor?
It does, and it comes out right to, there's a sloped ceiling portion where the stairs come in. It'll be to if you're standing out front, it'll be to the right of that. Our equipment room will be down there for the elevator. Along the side, along the Nevada, there's a bearing wall there with some rooms. That'll be our mechanical room, coat room. We are doing a catering kitchen in there and 2 small meeting rooms. There'll be multi-user man room and brand new toilet rooms down there where the bar is now. We're also taking that bar off of the 2nd floor where the pool tables were.
Yeah.
And we're repurposing that down there as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Putting them down on the bottom?
Yeah.
Really nice.
It's beautiful. We've got some pictures of that. It's an Art Deco bar. It's just fantastic. Most of the fixtures are still there. We're not sure if the neon works or not. But that'll all be refurbished and used downstairs. And then the fixtures, my project manager Amanda just selected all the finishes for it. It's beautiful. It's got an Art Deco vibe to it, so we're excited about that. Light fixtures, flooring, and that'll be available for rent too. I mean, that's going to be what it's traditionally always been used for. So we don't want to change that. And the main floor will be, like I said, retail. And the only thing we are changing use-wise is the upper floor.
We could have used an elevator back then.
So one of my jobs is to find, maybe is to find out what that tunnel is on the west side down there. You know anything about that?
No.
There's a tunnel?
There is, and
That's good stuff
you open the
right there.
iron door and you can feel air rushing out. So,
I've been going down to the river. There's a lot of tunnels that go down.
I
to
don't
the
know,
river.
but I didn't get my Ghostbuster outfit on.
Bring a camera
Find
Yeah.
and
any,
video it.
To bring a
Find any
camera and a
whiskey.
friend.
find any whiskey down there, you gotta share it here.
Okay, yeah.
Prohibition.
Yeah, that's right. That's one of them tunnels are there. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, we don't know, and, but that's one thing we were just talking about. It's the last piece of the puzzle we need on our drawings is to kind of figure out what that is down there.
I can't even think about what you're talking about on the west side.
So if you're in the alley, there's there's an iron stairwell there that comes up with a big,
It's got a cover on it.
yeah, there's a big tube coming out of it. Well, when you're at the bottom, you go out the door, and at the bottom of that well, it's left. So it's actually outside the building, big iron door there, and you can get in it apparently, but the air rushes in and then it kind of, there's one thing that drops off and another one that goes left, so we're not really sure. Escape route or something.
You haven't been in there?
Huh?
You haven't been in there?
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
he doing there?
He's volunteering.
There's a lot of great stuff.
Paul, did you say that this was the building with, what, that you found with the safe? One of them?
There's two in there.
Two safes.
Oh,
Interesting story with the safes.
Seems like we find one in every building that we're
We
doing.
already paid it.
Okay.
Heck of a deal. Was that an invitation to come explore that, the cave, is that what I understood?
Well,
That's it.
I think if you're done,
I'm good. Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity to present this to the board, and thank you for your time.
thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone for or against? You would know there.
It's good. Huh? I was outside. I didn't hear it.
Is there anybody here for or against? Let's say no.
Give a second to rest.
Close it here.
We close the hearing.
Commissioners.
Well, me personally, I understand why you were asking for the variance, understanding that I've walked that building a lot and kind of pretty familiar with it. And with everything that you guys are gonna have to do with the stairs, obviously utilities on the backside, all that is crucial. They have to have their certain distances and whatnot. So me personally, I understand why we need to shrink this down from the 12 down to the 10. I think the site plan is pretty well thought out. Mr. Glenn explained everything about, because of, we have to have greenery around, we have to have landscape, we have to have all that. So I understand. I don't see a problem.
I'd like to make a motion to go ahead and give him the variance for that particular side of the building, which would be the south side.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call.
Leone,
Yes.
Coker,
Yes.
Amijo,
Yes.
Norris,
Yes.
Spain,
Yes, ma'am.
Materano,
Yes.
and Rolo.
Yes.
Vote unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you all very much.
Thank you for your presentation.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't get a presentation like that.
Oh, that's
I
good.
like
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah, you did a great job.
And it was thorough, so I too appreciate that.
Let us know what you
Now we
find
just want to
out.
know where the tunnel is.
Yeah.
Let us know what you find out.
I will.
Yeah.
If you don't hear from me in a little while, a couple weeks,
Send
send out the search party.
Thank you all very much.
Thanks.
Have a good one.
Chairman reports.
Oh, I do have a few things I'd like to mention, if that's okay. I know we're not on the agenda, but this is just FYI news. We do have a zoning map that is almost near completion, and we have to have this on our website to be compliant, so I'll pass this around to everyone. We've just about got every zone vetted out on that map, and it's ready to be hosted on our website, so I'm very excited
So-
about that.
Like it's pretty much complete.
Pretty much, we're doing a couple of checks on amendments and ordinances to finalize it. I still want to go back and I think we're going to triple check the proposed dealership site, because I'm hearing from Georgie that may be community commercial and not historic preservation. And she put the site, the lady who's doing this proposed zoning map she's putting it across the street from the dealership and proposed dealership and,
Across the street from where?
Down there on the proposed new side of the dealership.
yeah, kind of like where the park is instead of where the dealership's supposed to be. So I'm gonna go over the ordinance one more time with,
The dog park?
yeah,
Okay.
it's kind of over there. So I want to go over it with Nate and just make sure, because it will save us so much time and effort
Right.
if it's zoned community commercial and not historic preservation.
So-
On the old map, how it has all those little spot zones and you have to go find them? Is that all?
There's kind of a few
This
windows
chart
in
down
here.
here?
Yeah, that goes over the bottom part of the map.
Okay.
But I mean, she's done a great job as far as getting all of that map in one area. So somebody can determine it by looking at it. I get calls all day long about, from realtors and whatnot, asking, what zone is this? And it would really be helpful to have that map up
Oh, yeah.
on our website. So we're very close to bringing that forward.
So down here on this chart, I can't read it because I don't have the right glasses on, but I'm assuming that's the one that's got the spot zones? No?
I know it has not the industrial area, but the area down by Walmart, I think is
Well, like,
named
you know
up
how,
there.
I'm just
The
gonna
window.
pick one that I can think of, like down by, on College Street. There's one little section that's high density, so you have to like look at the number
Oh,
and then
and
go to
bring
the
it.
chart. Is
Well,
it gonna show all
probably- It's
that?
probably not gonna enlarge enough to see that kind of detail.
So it'll still have to bother you occasionally?
Yeah,
Okay.
but not as much as I get right now, so
So it's
it's,
great.
But you guys, you'll not only put that on the website, but don't you guys hang a large scale one up here at City Hall?
well, every so many years, we have to get that updated and get the big wall zoning map printed.
Well, that's over here at the annex that's easily posted, right?
Yeah,
So the
and
one that's in
we're
the
due
office.
for another update. I'm not sure if planning will get one, but we'll definitely have one at the annex.
And
So-
you can buy them, right? Like I have the old one,
Buy
the big giant
copies.
one in my office.
That's what I was gonna say, so
Yes.
somebody could come in, a realtor could come in and say, we would like to purchase a large scale, so they would have something.
Yeah, they'd have to pay for it, but
Well,
yes.
yeah.
Yes, they would. And then my other exciting news, which I don't even know if I'm supposed to be sharing it, but Circle K is coming in to the site where Maverick was proposed.
Purple what?
Circle K.
Circle K.
So convenience.
Okay.
Yeah, and
In addition to? Or
we
instead
probably,
of?
planning and zoning probably won't see this because unless they do a subdivision and like if they acquire, here's the acquired area. It's all within city limits this time. Then the only thing is they may expand to the lot adjacent, which is also in city limits.
Is that the one that
You
we
kicking that along too?
we did that
That may expand.
We did that whole
with Mr.
hearing, I
Jackson,
But this still is gonna go,
can't remember his name.
Andrew Jackson,
Oh, yes, Mr. Jackson,
yeah.
who wanted
Yeah.
a
So
wonderful amount of
Did
money
it
for
ever
his
get
land.
annexed? Or did he
It
take it?
got all the way to the first reading and then we found out Mr. Jackson wanted $1.4 million for his land.
Just for that piece too.
Yeah,
Oh, hey, just writing a check.
I think he paid more for his whole
So does he still own it?
thing. Yeah, he will always own this.
So Maverick did not go through with the purchase of his.
Well, it is dead. They said that would be their most expensive gas station
Yeah.
ever, and they just couldn't justify the cost.
but this is still gonna deal with all that
No.
water issues.
Oh,
and all
oh,
that
yeah.
stuff.
And they know that, it's gonna be rebuilt there.
And that's on the site where the hotel
Yes,
is?
The hotel, right?
yes,
So they're still gonna have
Yeah.
to put that thing under the highway?
oh, yes.
They are?
And they'll have to comply with CDOT standards. Now, they may expand it here, but this is in city limits.
Yeah, cause this is where it breaks off, right?
Right.
Back
On
here
North
is where it
Street.
Yeah,
breaks
that's where
back.
the property.
So we may
This
see
is
them
county
for
then, not here.
well, city council will see them for a vacate if they wanna expand to the half of the street. I don't know, I haven't seen their.
So that one house is still back here, right? They'll come
It's
out
on
on
this
Denver.
corner. Yes, and I noticed him and he never responded to our, request to take over the rest of that land. But it would be a perfect site to have that for trucks, because if trucks got backed up, they could park right there and be out of the
Which
way.
side is Mr. Jackson?
He's over here.
Okay, got it.
Oh, wait, no, he's
No,
over
he's
here.
back here.
Yeah,
He's
he's
back here. He's on the north
Yeah, he's
side.
on this side.
Mr. Jackson. Yeah, he owned back here,
Yeah, because North Street's right here and he owns.
because he owned the county
half of
side.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So everything that they wanted on Maverick, they've got on this proposed site and more. There's EV stations included, dump station. We had a meeting with everyone, that's doing this proposed site,
They're considering doing a dump station as well?
yes.
Interesting.
And the only thing we had a problem with was the air station at the entrance, and they said they'd be happy to move it. So
When is that supposed to
they
come?
want this to happen as soon as possible, so. See it, but, yeah, I don't know if they'll come to us or not for if they add this, we'll have to do a subdivision or some kind of replat, so.
But if they stay on that exact spot, they don't have to go.
They don't have to. I know, it would really go quick,
So that would be a
So
minor.
nice.
It
A nice
will
look
be.
to that exit right there.
Just taking that
But I mean, if they
one
add,
hotel down.
The sad thing is there's people that live there.
Yeah.
I saw them having the biggest party the other day and I was like, what are they so happy about? And I think it was because they got this, well, they got this, that their land had sold and they were having a huge party.
so they've already purchased it?
Yeah, they already put the offer forward. I don't know if it's been accepted or not. So, but from what I saw, it looked
It
like
looked like they were.
they had accepted it.
Nice.
Yeah.
That'll be really nice.
Well, that'll be good.
Maybe
I
they
do,
can
you
move
know,
into the Eagles building, right?
definitely could see how trucks could definitely get backed up if we're offering,
Oh, yeah.
diesel fuel.
In that little spot.
That's the only thing that would concern me is, if is that what they're proposing, is putting like diesel pumps?
It's called a high efficiency diesel.
Circle K, yeah.
Let me see what it says. HSD pumps on each side of these pump stations for trucks. That's fast diesel. Most cars can't take it, but trucks can get fill-ups
Both sides.
quickly on both sides of the proposed gas station.
It just seems.
It's just on each end.
It just seems like they could
It's
easily.
gonna be like a truck stop.
I would say minimal truck stop. It's like they're taking in everybody. They're considering trucks, cars, RVs, everything in this little bitty spot.
What's the one, what is the one in Colorado City? Is that Circle K in Colorado City?
I like the plan. It's gonna
On
be
one side
really,
is Exxon.
they have a truck.
Yeah, Circle K.
That's just-
Yeah, I was concerned about the truck's turn radius. They have it. I mean, if they think a truck's gonna turn there, then okay. Yeah, everybody is. That's all I had.
Circle K in Colorado City. That is neat.
I think you're right. I think that's what changed.
That brand new one, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, and then there's a Love's.
That's Walsenburg. The Love's is in Walsenburg and then the other one.
Okay, it's in Colorado City. It's
Well, okay, that's all I had.
I have something.
Commissioners,
I have something I would like to, put up for discussion next time. I don't know if this is the right time or not. But the anniversary of the bicentennial is coming up. We got 2 years. We should start making plans, to have extra fireworks, an extra fund, and extra celebrations for that year. There is right now plans in the make for a national bicentennial celebration, and I believe that as a city, it would benefit us to be a part of that. They're talking about world fairs and a travel to the World Fair, and we could actually host a leg of this event. So I think that next time we should all come to talk about this and send it up to city council and start getting stuff rolling while there's still time to make plans. We have to get this going now before it's too late.
Does the tourism board know about it?
Yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh.
We could do amazing things with this celebration.
So is that something that staff can bring up to the tourism board?
We
Is
were
that
just
something,
here.
Right?
We had talked to them.
but, I mean, how would that work?
Yeah, we'd have to propose it, they discuss it on their agenda. And I would suggest tourism, because they're the ones that have the funding sources.
So how can we get this board and that board talking so that we can get this ball rolling? Because if we allow this to go any further down the road, we might miss our opportunity.
And you're talking July 2024, correct?
2025, I believe.
2025. Yeah, I'll find out from them and get back to you
Yeah,
as the
I mean-
best route.
We need to have double our firework allotment. We need to have a big celebration. This is big time. We have the ability to do this as a community. There's no reason we shouldn't be a part of this.
And part of the World Fair?
Yeah, they're gonna put together a world fair, and it's supposed to be a big bicentennial celebration. They're even asking that the old World Fairgrounds in Ohio, is that where they were? The very first ones? That they open that facility up and allow the bicentennial fair to happen there.
So how would Trinidad?
What they're planning on, from what I understand, is it's a staging of events that start 2024 and continue through the whole year to 2025 on Independence Day.
In different areas?
Different towns would be a part of this and continue the festivities throughout the year, so that way this whole year is a full celebration.
So then that would literally start in 2024, but the bicentennial.
The big celebration.
On
Right.
4th of July.
Right.
2025.
And I just feel like we get to be a part of this, so that way we can encourage this to happen. Because they need towns across the United States to be a part of this in order to make it happen. And it would also be very beneficial to us. People love coming here.
So it could be something kind of similar to what your Santa Fe Trail Days like that. Is that what you're saying? So
Absolutely. We
we're
could
gonna
have
do something out at the fairground.
We could have a rodeo out at the fairgrounds, we could have anything. This is any type of celebration possible. It's just, we need to get in on this bandwagon of this full year celebration, so that way they're advertising for us as well.
So maybe it sounds like something that we need to just do a little bit more homework on and kind of do something as a group to submit something over to tourism, right?
It's really in the beginning phases right now, so I don't even know how much homework there is to be
Well, do you have a place where, where did you see this?
news. Yeah, I will do homework, and I will bring homework back next time.
Okay.
I will have better information.
Yeah, well, let's talk about it.
I think it would just be great. Old time fair, you know.
No, I agree, and I think that like that, a celebration like that, it's not something we're asking for every year, it's like a one-time thing. Could be a good thing, it's another small thing that we can get other local communities to come down here, and, yeah, I like the idea.
With all our new permits that we've started with the trucks and the food trucks and everything, it's a great time to have an event, so that way they can start. I mean, they're selling alcohol on the main streets and everything. We have to fuel that evolution. So this is what we do.
What was it, the bicentennial of?
The United States. 1976.
77,
76.
So 1776. There you go. Not 1976. That's my birthday.
Okay.
Anybody else? I got a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Second. Outstanding.
That's